I remember that initial week after I started my first full-time job after college. I felt excited because I had just finished up school, I was ready to start my adult life, making a legit salary, and this is what I had been preparing for by sitting in the classroom for the past 16 years. But after that first week, the excitement quickly started to fade and started to turn into confusion and honestly just questioning life altogether. And it's not because my job was bad or anything. In fact, it was the complete opposite. My job is quite good, and I felt honestly pretty lucky getting it straight out of college. You know, the pay is solid, the people are nice, the work isn't terribly stressful, and many of my coworkers have been there for 15, 20, 30 years, which is typically the sign that it's a good place to work at. But this is precisely what worried me. Based on what I had heard from friends and family about their work, it sounded like my experience working a regular 9-to-5 job was about as good as it gets. While I was certainly grateful for what I had, I still felt this kind of void inside me. Like, is this it? Is this really life? You know, I went to school for 16 years. I got a job. I could easily see a version of myself being completely satisfied with life that way. You know, I could continue working this job, maybe get promoted to a manager, have kids and a family, buy a house, send the kids to college, and repeat the whole cycle. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that life, but I couldn't help but feel like there was potential for more. I wanted a life that I was proud of, that was truly fulfilling and excited me, not just one that was fine or good enough. This is still very much a work in progress for me, and although I still have a full-time job, I've started to enjoy my life 100 times more than I was when I first finished school and started working. There are 5 main components that have made all the difference for me, so I'll break down each of them in this video, and maybe you'll find something that resonates with you that you can incorporate into your own life. Mindset. Mindset is probably the single most impactful thing that sets people apart. It literally determines how you view the world around you and your willingness to make changes in your life. The first major mindset shift for me was simply recognizing that I am completely in control of my life. I used to make all these excuses for my lack of success in various areas of my life. You know, things like, well, I'm just naturally not good at this thing. My life is too busy, so I can't make time for X. Once I get this off my plate, then I can make time to do that thing. You know, insert whatever current situation is holding me back. You know, no one else has to deal with this type of thing. I'm special, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure what caused me to snap out of this sort of mental prison. It may have been just watching a video like this one, but eventually I got to the point where I accepted full responsibility for exactly where I was in my life. And this was crucial because it empowered me to feel in control of the direction that my life was going to take from then on out. We're all unique in our own way, and we've got different things going for us and against us, you know, some more than others, but it's easy to look at something like social media and see someone who's more successful than you farther along in life and think that, okay, well, they've just got it easy, they're lucky, they've got some sort of secret advantage that is allowing them to be successful that I don't have. And I really just don't think that's the case. Yes, of course, there are people in the world who are just born into significant more difficult situations. They've got significant setbacks and disadvantages that are holding them back. But I think for you and I, although our situations are unique, they're not so unique from the people who are successful in life that it's somehow impossible for us to make success happen and build our ideal future. There's someone out there who is in a very similar, if not more difficult situation to me and you, who is doing everything in their power to make their dreams happen, no matter what sort of obstacles the universe throws their way. If they can power through, tune out the excuses that their brain makes, and make their life into what they want it to be, then why can't we do that too? The second mindset shift I made is to expect things to be difficult. If you're trying to build a side hustle or some sort of project that's more fulfilling outside of your normal job, it's not going to be easy. If it were easy, then everyone would do it and it wouldn't be as special anymore. So expect your brain to try and talk you out of doing more with your life and staying put exactly where you are in your comfort zone. I think modern society is literally designed to give us the minimum viable dose of satisfaction with our lives, where life isn't amazing, but it's not terrible either. It's kind of just fine, you know, good enough so that we don't have the drive to rebel and break out of it and do something more with their lives, and instead just kind of stay put, stay content, and continue feeding the machine. Chances are that the things you procrastinate on most or feel the most difficult are actually the things that would benefit your life the most. So I now try to use this feeling of resistance or things being too hard as a guide for what I should do more of in life. The next thing that has helped me get more enjoyment and fulfillment out of life is finding a vehicle. This is essentially a passion, project, hobby, side hustle, any sort of pursuit that provides value to the world, and through the nature of simply doing the thing allows us to develop and level up as a person. I think part of the reason that many day jobs feel so unfulfilling is because our day-to-day work is so disconnected from the actual value that we're providing to the world. Especially at bigger companies, you're just a small piece of the machine, which altogether might be providing a lot of value to the world, but you as an individual are so removed from that value and hidden behind different layers of the company. The opposite is true with my YouTube channel, for example. I can literally post a video today and get immediate feedback from someone saying how it genuinely changed their life for the better. There's no better feeling than that. By the way, I'm Miles and I make videos discussing my experiences and what I've learned as I navigate life. Click subscribe right now to see more videos like this one. Now, the added benefit of having this vehicle or project to pursue outside of your normal job is, one, it brings you more fulfillment and enjoyment out of life. But on top of that, it opens up the potential to turn that passion project, which you enjoy more, into a form of making money, into a career, which can lead to further enjoyment and fulfillment in life and crafting your true ideal dream lifestyle. And then on top of that, in the process of getting to that destination of fulfilling your potential and building this lifestyle, it will force you to kind of clean up your life and develop good habits, manage your time well, cut out bad habits, because the truth is, if you're trying to start some sort of project outside of the normal life commitments, your job and stuff, if you have a chaotic life full of bad habits, toxic people and all of this, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to make any sort of progress. All of that brings me to the next component, which is system. Without a system, we leave life up to chance. We leave things up to how we feel in that moment. Now, that can be good from time to time when we want to think outside of the box or reflect on the bigger picture, but when it comes down to actually moving forward in life and building our ideal future and breaking free from the chains of mediocre satisfaction, we need a system. A system is basically a fancy way of saying a routine, a schedule, a flow, or a consistent method for how we approach our lives. These systems can come in many shapes and sizes. You can have an overall daily or weekly routine that forms a system for how you approach your everyday life, but you can also have finer systems within that. For example, a morning routine or a workout plan or a procedure for filming YouTube videos. The goal here is to take the time to make a well thought out decision for how you're going to approach one aspect of your life, so that you don't have to make that same decision again in the moment. This not only keeps your everyday life aligned towards your ideal future, but it saves loads of time and helps you make better decisions in the moment, because your brain won't be fatigued from making all these minor routine decisions throughout the day, like what you're going to wear, what time you're going to wake up, what you're going to eat, and what you're going to do with your day. I won't get into the specifics of my systems here because it could honestly be a whole separate video, but I also don't want you to feel like just because I do something in a certain way that it's somehow the correct way of doing things. Anything that you learn from me or anyone else on YouTube or the internet should always be filtered and tested through your own experiences so that you can come up with the perfect system for you. That being said, if you do work a 9-to-5 job and have difficulty finding the time to yourself or to work on anything outside of your job, one thing I would recommend is waking up earlier and spending the first 1 to 2 hours of the day dedicated to that vehicle that we discussed earlier. Health. Being in good health is so crucial to having a productive and enjoyable life. I found that anytime that my health suffers, literally every other aspect of my life suffers. And anytime that my health is doing well, everything else in my life also starts doing better. And maintaining good health doesn't really require anything too complicated. Honestly, just the basics. Exercise, sleep, and nutrition will make the biggest impact, so incorporating these into my life systems is a must. I've also found that for me, taking care of my physical health is the best way to also take care of my mental health. Although mindset is super important, as I discussed earlier in the video, I found that it's very difficult to think yourself out of a rut or some kind of poor mental state. The best way for me to feel better mentally is to do something that makes me feel better physically. So this is usually like doing a hard workout, taking a cold shower, getting a good night's sleep, eating better, going for a technology-free walk, etc. If you want to read the full written guide for this video, you have questions for me, or want to discuss this topic with other like-minded people, join my free online community, Miles Ahead. That's the top link in the description. Do something today that your future self would thank you for.